So today, this is a quick recap on the Buddhism and body image article. It's an article I'm really excited about because it's kind of combined a few different interests of mine, and I believe it's really powerful. Subjectively, I think this is the most important technique and approach that I've taken to improve my body image, and I'm also hoping that it will be the most beneficial for you too. I think there's a lot that will resonate, and I think it's a different approach from a lot of other stuff out there. So let's dig into the article. So the very first thing I'm sure you would have noticed is a new layout to the website, which I felt was really important. I'm hoping it's a lot cleaner, and I'm hoping it kind of improves your experience as you read through. Yeah, I felt like the old one was a little unclear on mobile, so I've updated it, which is exciting. So moving on to the article, so it was really important initially to just have a bit of a brief introduction into Buddhism and the Buddha and the story of his enlightenment, because that sets a framework for the key theme in the article, which is the middle way. Now, this is a theme of balance, and I believe that when you approach body image with the middle way in mind, it's a really good way of promoting not only body positivity, but let's call it body realism. Because what we don't want, and the outcome we don't want, is to become overly indulgent in the body through the paradigm of positivity. We still want to have a lack of attachment to the changes and the impermanent nature of the body. So that's why I've chosen the middle way as a kind of structure for the article. So the framework of the article consists of 5 separations. This is slightly different to the actual middle way because there are 8 different steps in this philosophy, but I've kind of taken an approach that is inspired by the middle way. I haven't taken each of the actual components and translated them. Instead, I've taken the 5 separations that kind of toe the line between indulgence and self-mortification. So it's this idea that on one extreme of body shame is no good for you, and one extreme of narcissism and body pride is also not good for you. So we try and find this middle approach. The first separation separates worth from appearance. There are a few different elements to this step. One of them was this idea of unlearning. I think this is really important because sometimes with these techniques we feel like somehow we just have to attain more and more knowledge until we get to the stage where we just know the answers and we can apply them. But actually, the idea of unlearning is that inherently we already have all the potential that we need. We already have all the worth we could ever desire, and it is just under the layer of conditioning that we have assimilated through the media and through the kind of portrayals and the beauty myth and the beauty standards that have been discussed in previous articles. So that's step number 1. I then lead on to the difference between intellectual acknowledgement, which is I know I should feel this way, and experiential understanding, which is I feel this way. So this is a fundamental concept in meditation and in mindfulness. It was a huge leap forwards for me because I, of course, back in the day when I was really struggling, knew that I should appreciate my life because I'm very lucky in the grand scheme of things compared to many people. But actually truly feeling appreciation or contentment or compassion is a lot different to intellectually knowing that it is a desirable state to have. So I use this as an example, but then I lead on to how this same process can be replicated for self-worth. It's this idea that when you practice qualities such as compassion, love and acceptance for both yourself and for others, you can then diminish greatly this idea of finding value and finding worth outside of yourself. And I've also included a little meditation that's on YouTube. This one I literally just typed in self-acceptance meditation, but I wanted to put something in there that you could actually try today on top of the kind of ideas that I've discussed. Separation number 2 separates satisfaction from vanity. So the key with this step is to find the sweet spot between body shame and narcissism. This just fleshes out that idea a little bit. So I also make sure to note in this section that I'm not going to claim I don't care about appearances when I get my hair cut regularly, I shop at ASOS, and I do take care of my appearance. But I also note that Taking care in physical appearance isn't indulgence as long as you don't apply undue emphasis to it. If you do become too attached to it, that's a manifestation of the ego, and that's what we're trying to avoid with this balanced approach. I then go a little bit into my body image struggles, the sense of feeling too skinny, too weak, the process of beginning exercise as a remedy to that, which then actually had the opposite effect and only increased my kind of attentiveness to the physical form and actually had an undesirable effect and made me judge my body even more. Exercise is an important topic though, because it leads on to separation number 3, which is separating functionality from objectification. I start this section with a quote from A Body Confident Future. This was a governmental report into body image issues, which actually had a committee set up to explore ways that we can improve body image as a society. They note quite rightly that exercise can have a really positive effect on body image issues if you really take in mind this idea of focusing on the functionality of the body and the kind of miraculous nature that the body changes through exercise. This is much, much different from objectification. You're not looking at your own body as this kind of slab of meat or this beauty product to be evaluated, but actually just appreciating it for its ability to get you from A to B, to adapt, and to carry you in a really important way. I've included a philosophy that I use personally, which is to switch mindset from judgment to intrigue, and to move from evaluation to fascination. This is particularly relevant to weight training, where I notice a lot of changes in the body, but rather than struggle with this, I find it really useful in terms of embracing impermanence. I used to struggle a lot if I put on weight and lost weight. It would cause a lot of stress, but now I try and take a bit more of a step back and become fascinated by the changes that go on. Now, I mentioned that word, a word that is extremely important to any spiritual practice, and that is impermanence. Separation number 4 separates impermanence from fixed concepts in the paradigm of body image. This separation was a great opportunity to include the 4 Noble Truths, another philosophy. I included that with help from my friend Lou, so thanks a lot, Lou, for your support on this one. And it's this idea of unnecessary suffering and how this is caused by the attachment to fixed concepts. The 4th step, or the 4th Noble Truth, is the path that leads away from this attachment is the Noble Eightfold Path. It's the middle way that we're discussing in this article. The 5th and final separation is separating health from aesthetics. The general idea with this step is to respect the body and to learn to listen to the messages that it's telling you, to view the body as part of one organism that makes you. I feel like a lot of Western culture is invested in the idea of the mind and the intellect almost being separate from our bodies. And because of that, we neglect the body. A lot of body image issues are sparked by a culture that emphasizes aesthetics over health, but it's really important to reconnect with what your body needs. I provide 2 examples that highlight how really there's no separation between mind and body. When we feel stressed, we release a hormone known as cortisol that has quite damaging physical effects on the body. And I also cite a 2011 study by McMaster University that discovered implanting bacteria from anxiety-suffering humans into mice increased their level of anxiety-like behaviour. This is not new. There are quite a lot of discoveries in this realm of the intelligence of the gut, and it just kind of explains the theory of gut feeling or gut instinct, and how for most of us our emotional centre, where we really feel emotion, is in the stomach. That's an intelligence that we need to also tune into as part of this separation. So there we have it. There is the article on Buddhism and body image. I really hope that it's been useful for you. I kind of conclude the article with a reminder that all of these topics, all of the things that have been discussed over the past few articles, they're only going to really make a difference to you if you apply them. I really value you reading these articles, and if you get something from it, that's great. But to make genuine change, you have to apply this daily. I've done it, and it has an impact, and that's why I'm sharing it with you. So have that belief that you can change the way you feel. I believe in you. I think you can do it. I know you can do it. And as always, thanks a hell of a lot for watching the video, and I'll be back soon.